So, um, uh, not long ago, I applied for a job at ADT Security, and I didn't get it. It's unfortunate, but kind of gave me some inspiration to think about it. And I haven't applied to my meta theory diagram to just something random for a while. I have a lot of fun doing that. It's a lot of fun. So let's think about this. Let's apply the meta theory to home security. So, what is the reason? What is the psychological why? What is the psychological origin of entropy for why we would want or need home security? So, from that point, what is the origin of entropy? Why would we need home security? And there's a spectrum of reasons there. Right now, I'm working through the entropy to lay out the spectrum of reasoning for why someone would want or need home security. So there's this kind of a spectrum there. And safety, right? Definitely safety. Safety is a big concern, right? You don't want people just walking into your home or on your property and just being a potential threat. Just something being there that should not be there makes us uneasy. Maybe to protect our valuables, right? Maybe we want to take care of our property and we want to protect our property, make sure that just even somebody just stepping onto our property is a potential threat. So we need to know if there's something there that shouldn't be there. So safety, protection of valuables, just peace of mind. If security is in existence, then just the fact that sometimes like you drive by, and I remember when I was young at an old house my parents lived in, my dad got one of those, just got the sign for ADT Home Security. He just had the sign sitting out there. Didn't even have the security system in place, but just had the sign out there. And just having the sign was enough to potentially just kind of thwart off potential intruders. So even just the sign gave peace of mind, some kind of peace of mind. So maybe we just have home security just for the peace of mind. Maybe even that sign is enough. Just have a little peace of mind. So safety, protect our valuables, kind of a spectrum of reasons for why we would have home security. We got safety, protection of valuables, peace of mind. Um, maybe we're going on vacation and we're not going to be at home for a while. And so maybe if you're at home, you don't really care about home security. Maybe that's just you. You're kind of how you do things, and that's fine, right? But maybe we're going on vacation for a week or two and we're not going to be there, and we don't want to pay somebody to home sit or whatever, right? So we have security there so that we can have eyes and protection on our property even if we're not around. So maybe it's because we're not present, we need something to be present to protect us potentially. Or what's another reasoning for why we would have home security? What's the spectrum? Another reasoning. And so again, like the spectrum of reasoning for why we would have home security is prone to our own schemas and the rule consequentialism. And so let's break that down a little bit, right? Like if we live in a, like, I don't know, I live in a pretty good community here. Like, I don't know, my house was broken in not into actually my house was broken into not long ago. Kind of wish I would have had ADT, some home security for that. Like, wasn't a big deal. I don't really care. But like, if I would have just had a sign of ADT, maybe if I had an ADT sign just out there, wouldn't have happened. But for like, if you live in a pretty decent community, or like maybe you have a gated community, then maybe like home security is less of a concern for you. So relative to your individual schema, your individual place, so your viewpoint, maybe you have more or less need for home security. Or, and that kind of goes in with the collective, because that goes on with the community and the people around you. Maybe police presence is just prominent enough in your area that with the collective, that home security is just less of a concern or a need, potentially. But there is always the void. There's always the void. There's always just that bit of unknown. There's that little bit of, I don't know what's going to happen. So no matter what your circumstances are, no matter who you are, where you live, or what you're doing, there is potentially a need for home security. There is always just that little bit of, I don't know. There's just always those things we don't know, we can't know. And so with that, home security kind of helps protect us from the void, because it just makes it so that those little bits of things that we don't know or can't know, we do have potentiality to know. That doesn't mean that there's not like master thieves and sleuths that might come in and sleuths, but master thieves that can get around your security system and all of your systems and still just kind of come in and steal stuff, right? Like, I don't know. I'm just spitballing, right? But like, they're even with home security, there's the void is always present. We never can escape the void. It's always there, no matter what. And so I guess that's a decent coverage of the why. Like, why we would need home security and relative to the individual or collective. Some pretty good examples there. But then, like, how or like what exactly is home security doing for us? And so we'll apply a different origin of entropy. Like, how or what is home security doing for us? And then there's a spectrum there. But this is kind of a unique application of the meta theory, because the spectrum for how or what might be the entropy itself. So, like, think about this. Like, why do we need home security at all? Like, what if we just had an all-knowing eye, an all-knowing presence, or all-knowing, like, encompassing view of our home and our property, and like, we don't need, like, then we wouldn't need home security. But that's not true. Like, nobody's that way, right? So there's always a little bit of entropy. There's always a little bit of entropy. Just that little bit of things that we don't know, we can't make out, we're just unaware of, but we do have potentiality to figure out or know. And that is entropy. That's all that stuff we just can't quite make out right away. There's what's my official definition of entropy? How do I define it? Officially, I've defined entropy as a lack of confirmation of truth which can be attained. And so if there's a lack of confirmation for truth, home security makes it so that we can potentially obtain that. So it doesn't just sit in the void for us. Without that home security, there might be bits of information that are in the void. So home security, there's things that are impossible to know. So home security kind of helps us kind of quell the void a little bit and turns things into entropy or information that we can potentially figure out. And so, like, what does a home security system do? And it's kind of ironic, right? Like, depending on the situation, a home security is going to pick up on things that wouldn't normally be there, right? Whether it's cameras or motion sensors here and there in different places. Like, so a home security system is going to detect entropy. That is what a home security system is doing. A home security system is kind of it's not perfect or exact, but like, it's an origin of entropy to detect entropy. So we can go to our origin of entropy, the security system, to detect any entropy that might be there. So maybe just late at night and someone comes onto your property and tries to steal your lawn gnomes, right? Maybe you got some sweet lawn gnomes out there you don't want stolen. So a camera is going to pick up on that and see that person. Like, it's going to say, oh, intruder. There's a thing there that isn't normally there, and that is entropic. It's entropic. It's just not there. We're not sure what they're going to do. There's a lot of variables. There's a lot of unknowns. And so what does home security do? It creates entropy. Maybe it automatically calls the cops, or maybe it creates a really loud noise. And it creates entropy. And so by creating entropy, it draws your attention to other entropy. See that? It's like, not all entropy is bad. Sometimes entropy can draw our attention to finding other points of entropy. And so with that, like, there's just a lot of ways to view origin of entropy, right? So with that, like, an intruder is an origin of entropy itself, because they are something that can go on to create more entropy. You see what I mean? And so, like, what or how is the security system helping us or doing for us or whatever? Like, often they're an origin of entropy because they are going to create entropy themselves, which helps us to detect further entropy. And there's a spectrum of entropy at which a security system could detect, right? There's a whole spectrum of entropy that it could detect potentially. And now individually, we might react to that differently. The entropy that's created. Maybe we hear a really loud noise and we get panicked, or maybe we're really calm about it. Maybe we're really stoic, or I don't know, all kinds of reactions that could happen to that. Then it kind of boils down to like, kind of like what is kind of a result or a result of the how here? Like the rule consequentialism. If there's an intruder, then maybe cops will come and there's collective rule consequentialism placed on it that was bad. There's police come and they write a report up and then it's documented, and then we can, for that reason, we can in the future potentially quell more entropy because we're aware of this particular instance. So like, that's why like it's important to report incidents to police, whether it's a problem for you, whether it's not a problem at all, or whether the police can do anything about it. Sometimes the police there's not anything they can do, right? And that's okay. But just documenting it and being aware of the entropy that has occurred can help us be more prepared for potential future entropy, things that we just aren't sure of, but can become aware of or sure of. And so like, and here, I guess this is an interesting way. I don't talk about beauty directly very much as it relates on the spectrum here. I've defined beauty a few times, right? Like, if we want to apply beauty to this, like a home security system helps make homes and properties more beautiful, because it adds another layer or another spectrum to that property or that place that will help that property or home function more efficiently and better. And so we can think of a home security system or ADT as creating beauty. It's creating beauty because it creates another spectrum within a thing to help it function properly or better. And the more spectrums we have of within a thing, and it all is working together, is what creates more beauty. And so that's how a home security system can create a more beautiful place or property, is that it allows it to function more efficiently and better while being another spectrum within itself. Because there's a spectrum within that. There's another whole spectrum here of what the home security could be. I kind of talked about that a little bit, right? Like, relative to what type of entropy might occur, there are different systems to detect that entropy. So maybe it's cameras, maybe it's motion detectors, maybe it's just automated calls to the police, something like that. I don't know. I didn't work there. I don't know exactly all the details, but no, it's pretty good. ADT. Go check out ADT. Get some home security. Have a good day.